Basically, Mr. Collins was the CEO of Mercantile, and 16,000, and basically this arbitration was against Hamilton.
Hamilton,
right?
yes.
Hamilton, because of their failed acquisition, and this morning we were able to learn why that happened to be. It was because the funds that were meant to be raised to acquire partial ownership or control of Mercantile due to their crypto capabilities mainly. That's why they were a point of interest. But because of the funds being seized, they weren't able to follow through with the full acquisition. Right.
Yes.
Like the first payment basically was seized by was it the U.S. Marshals, right?
Okay,
yeah. U.S. Marshals.
And then I heard, is it true that the Mercantile Bank came back at us at the Himalaya Exchange because they didn't, the unsuccessful acquisition. They came back at us and then sued Himalaya Exchange.
For
is that right?
20 million, if I remember
I believe there's an arbitration.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was an arbitration.
It's arbitration, and then it was the result was being that Himalaya Exchange paid 20 million to Mercantile Bank because of the.
I'm not too clear on that because
Okay.
they never brought it up in court.
Okay,
All that was brought up was that.
but acquisition was unsuccessful.
Yeah, it was
right
unsuccessful.
because
yeah.
the fund in Himalaya
Yeah.
Exchange was seized.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what's caused the arbitration.
Yeah.
Right, between Hamilton and the Mercantile
Yeah.
Bank, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you know? Did he explain why he chose Himalaya Exchange?
Yeah.
Because
He was actually more interested because when William G came up to him with the proposition, he was also considering some other investors.
Yeah.
right.
I forgot which other investor it was. Do you remember?
I'm
was
not
it
sure. I'm not sure the name, but
So
he
you mean
did
like
mention-
there's a bit
yeah.
of competition,
Right, and
then,
also
as-
Himalaya Exchange was trying
Yeah.
to find a partner in this
Exactly,
too. So
exactly.
yeah.
So like because Mercantile had competition as to who would want to do like the partnership, they obviously did a lot of background checks and
Yeah.
concluded
Yes.
that they want to go forward with the partnership with it.
Despite all the things they read
Absolutely.
about, yes.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah. And one key point to mention is that, the witness said Mercantile was the first U.S. bank to hold digital assets in custody. So the first ever,
Okay.
right? And they said that they might not provide, their services for certain cryptocurrencies because, due to regulations, commercial prospects or concerns
Right.
about onboarding certain, cryptocurrencies. But the fact that they did all their research, all their due diligence, right? And they chose to onboard Himalaya Exchange and take them on as a customer, it just goes to show prove the legitimacy of Himalaya Exchange, right?
Oh,
And its
yes.
entities,
Because they're the one
yeah.
receiving the money, right?
Yeah,
So.
and then also did really thorough due diligence, I'm sure, and they on G Clubs and G Fashion as well.
Okay.
And they found that the UBO of all those entities was not Miles or any of his family members, and they found that Miles didn't have operational control
Right.
at all over G Clubs, G Fashion, or Himalaya Exchange.
Because I remember, because I was there on the beginning of the direct,
Yeah.
right? And I remember him mentioning that, with all the diligence, when they were doing the diligence and the KYC, they didn't, that they find that Miles was not the ultimate beneficial owner
Yeah.
of any of the entities.
Yeah, exactly,
And then the question was asked, if you knew he was the beneficial, the UBO,
Yeah.
would you still do business with him? And then he said no,
Yeah.
right, for all of the three entities.
Yeah.
So I thought that the argument they're trying to bring up, or the connection they're trying to make, is that he is not the UBO on paper,
Yeah.
but he actually has a say in
Yeah.
it. Am I correct?
Yeah.
They're trying to
Yeah, the prosecution's trying to make that point, but I mean, Sid was very clear in saying, does he have operational control? So operational control wouldn't mean on paper, it mean, in the day-to-day
Yes.
activities. And the witness clearly answered no to all those three questions. And I mean, he also mentioned that, they conducted a risk profile on Miles before, found his past history, and, they determined that, it would be very problematic for Mercantile if he was connected to anything, which is why, like you said earlier,
Yeah.
that if he was a UBO, then they would not choose to do business with all these entities, right?
And also
that they were experiencing cash crunch, and that was also during the time that they were introduced to this investment opportunity, right? So it was like we said, very, very beneficial for both people to move forward with this relationship. And you know, as mentioned yesterday, it was actually very unfortunate that we learned that Mercantile had actually closed down operations one day before that Mr. Collins was testifying.
Yes, that was last, I believe it was last Thursday that happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was winding down.